When the latest D-list Sony Spider-Man universe movie comes out and it makes Morbius look like a masterpiece, you know there's going to be issues.
You're showing off.
Maybe a little.
Dakota Johnson of 50 Shades fame stars as Cassie Webb. Subtle job on the name, guys. She's a New York paramedic. She's a bit of a lone wolf or a solitary spider. She does her job. She just gets on with her life. She's not really bothered by too much around her. She is an orphan. She has a briefcase of secrets from her mum who died in childbirth. That briefcase is figuratively and literally her baggage throughout the movie. Everything is fine and dandy in her life. That is, of course, until she develops some kind of freaky Minority Report-esque precog powers and starts to see into the future. And before you know it, she's unwittingly playing the mama bear, or the big sister spider, to a trio of younger proto-future Spider-Women type characters. That pretty much kicks off the plot. They are being hunted down by a bad guy whose name escapes me as well. So, where do we start with Madam Web? You can probably tell from my intro I wasn't a fan of this movie. The story is weak, like really weak. The plot is paper thin. The dialogue is pure cringy at times.
He was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders right before she died.
And the performances... So I don't really know Dakota Johnson from much. I know she was in the 50 Shades movies. Shockingly, I haven't actually seen them, honest. But I can't really think of anything else I've seen her in. So purely based on this movie, yeah, she didn't do great. Like, her character is kind of like one note from start to finish. Like, at the start of the movie, she's quite blasé about things. She doesn't really, care about anything. She just kind of, goes about her day-to-day life, goes about her job. She's quite emotionally detached from everything. Then everything that happens in the movie happens. Her world is turned upside down. She finds herself looking after these three young girls. And her character is pretty much the same. She's still very blasé about everything. She goes on a mission of self-discovery. She does discover a few things, but, you wouldn't tell that from her face because she kind of plays the one note the whole way through. Tahar Rahim plays the bad guy in it. And I cannot remember the name of the bad guy. And he was in the movie called A Prophet back in like 2008 or 2009. It's a French language prison crime drama. And that movie, and he is amazing in that movie. But in this, he's not great. It almost sounds like all of his dialogue was redubbed. And they didn't bother to take the time to get all of the lines perfectly in sync. So it's fairly obvious. It kind of stands out that, oh yeah, his dialogue's been redubbed. I don't even know if it was redubbed with his own voice or not, but it's not a great dubbing job because it stands out, or at least it stood out to me like a mile away. The three younger actresses who play the three proto Spider women, they even though their characters are quite one-dimensional, quite stereotypical, almost caricature-esque, they're actually the only kind of saving grace in the movie. Their banter and their interplay is almost believable and almost entertaining. But that's pretty much the only good thing I can say about this. Yeah, the whole thing just felt like a bad, cheesy 90s superhero movie. I mean, the CGI isn't terrible, so I'm not comparing the CGI to 90s CGI. So the CGI is not terrible, but it's not amazing either. There's not a lot to do, to be honest, with the CGI. So yeah, it wasn't amazing. But what would be amazing would be a wee sub to the channel. Thank you very much. I think one of the bigger questions that people will be asking, I know I was before I saw this movie, was, is this connected to Spider-Man, to any of the Spider-Man universes? Is it connected to Spider-Man at all? This might be potential spoilers, so I'm going to put a spoiler warning up here or here. That'll stay on screen until I've stopped talking about the spoilers. Okay? Graphic on, ready. So if you don't want spoilers, skip forward until this graphic, whatever it is. Skip forward until this graphic disappears. So, Spider-Man connection. Yes, it's definitely connected to some version of Spider-Man, of some Spider-Man universe. Adam Scott, who's in the movie, he is Cassie Webb's paramedic partner. He plays Uncle Ben. He plays Ben Parker in this movie. He's a much younger Ben Parker. He's maybe late 30s, early 40s. He's listed as Ben Parker on IMDb, so I'm not sure how much of a spoiler that can be. But yeah, so he plays Ben Parker. So, that's definitely a Spider-Man connection. The timeline of the movie, it doesn't go into too much specific detail other than we know that Cassie is born in 1973. They don't say how old she is, but judging by just by roughly looking at how old she might be, by looking at the cars and the technology and the adverts and billboards and stuff like that, I would say it's probably set round about 2003-ish. Like if we say that Cassie's supposed to be 30, then yeah, this movie would be set in 2003-ish. So if it's 2003 and Ben Parker isn't Uncle Ben yet, but is about to be Uncle Ben, then it's probably the Tom Holland Spider-Man universe if you were to pick one, because like the timeline would roughly match up with that. You could stretch the years a little bit and maybe say that it's the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man universe. It's definitely not the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man universe. My best guess is if it is part of a Spider-Man universe, it's the Tom Holland Spider-Man universe, because unless I'm mistaken, you don't actually see a picture of Ben Parker, of Uncle Ben, in the Tom Holland Spider-Man universe. So you don't know what he looks like, whereas obviously in the other two, in the Tobey Maguire universe and in the Andrew Garfield universe, we do know what Uncle Ben looks like. So there is that. Obviously, actors get recast all the time. He's playing a younger version, so he could easily be the younger version of the Andrew Garfield Ben Parker. But yeah, best guess would be if it is connected to a Spider-Man universe, it's the Tom Holland one. However, if that is the case, then that means that Madam Web takes place in the MCU, and I don't think anyone, especially Marvel, want that to be the case. I'll be interested to know what people think on that. Let me know in the comments below what you think in terms of how Madam Web is connected to any Spider-Man universe. It could be connected to an entirely new Spider-Man universe, like the Ben Parker that we see in this could be Uncle Ben in a completely new Spider-Man universe where it's not Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield. Who knows? So I'm going to give this one quite a harsh score. I'm going to go with 3 out of 10. Yeah, it's that bad. Sony, I know you want to have your massive connected Spider-Man MCU-esque universe, but yeah, just give up. Madam Web is pretty crap. Morbius wasn't great, but in comparison, Morbius is great compared to Madam Web. Who knows? Maybe Kraven the Hunter will be a masterpiece. There's some talented people involved. Who knows? I mean, Venom was okay. Don't get me wrong. You kind of got lucky with that one, but yeah, maybe stop trying to be the MCU. You're not. You've got Spider-Man. Keep making Spider-Man movies. People want Spider-Man movies. People want more than one Spider-Man universe. You could have an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man universe alongside the Tom Holland Spider-Man universe. People are asking for that. No one was asking for Madam Web. No one was asking for Morbius. No one was asking for Kraven the Hunter. But to be fair, Kraven could be a masterpiece. As I said, it's not out yet. I'm sure everything's fine. I'm sure that the reasons for the multiple reshoots and the multiple delays, I'm sure they're not, warning signs about the quality of the movie. Time will tell. So, that's us folks. Thanks very much for watching. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you want to see more content like this, you can always subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next video.